feel like my heart's racing too much. I need my system to settle a little. It's
Right. It's
strange
okay.
feeling. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Guardians. Thanks for joining us again.
Hello.
We've got Kam with us today, who you know, who was on the podcast a few days ago, and you were speaking about him, speaking about sort of his potential. I think was we started to ask the question about his potential, and you gave a tantalising answer, but suggested that he came on today to maybe get energy unblocked. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I think that was along those lines. So can you remind us, Kam, what was said in particular?
Yeah, I think you've summed it up nicely. It was something along the lines of, there's a bright light there, like we all have, but specifically, I have one that probably could do with a bit of clarifying or unblocking, or I can't remember the exact terms. So we were going to do it then, but obviously we didn't have enough time, so that's why I'm back here today. And also, speaking to Susan before we started today. She mentioned that me being here was important for her as well, so that would be really cool to know why.
Your light is very special. And the way we see it is it's like this vessel, and is like encasing, and therefore the light can't breathe, and it's creating and reactive energy as it's trying to come out, but there needs to be a little bit of like restructuring at the energetic field to allow that breathing of the light to be happening. And you're happy to receive this now?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. It's it's like this flame within, like it's been carried through time, but not fully embodied and lit. It's very interesting. There's been something that is kept it quiet. Hmm.
What does that mean exactly?
It's a good question. It looks like this. It's like, it's almost like like when there's a chrysalis, it's like a cocoon, and it's never been broken out of. So the incubation period was never completed. And so the bridging codes and need to come in so that the weaving of this light that is your soul, your higher field of consciousness, and you can be received through the human field. And you can remove the cocoon and truly like develop and grow into what comes next, because this is calling, and and the people that are coming to you and that you're experiencing, and it's like everybody's giving you keys of light, and you got little codes here and there, which is trying to activate, but because of this, this locked cocoon, it's not, it's like almost, it's just not unlocking. So needing the higher codes to bridge that gap so that everything comes back into flow and movement, and you can evolve in greater fluidity.
Okay, that's interesting. And is this something that has going on for many, many lifetimes, or is it like ancestral? Is it something that's just in this life?
It's connected to your soul and evolution of your path. And it looks like there are, it's been ready to blossom to awaken many times, but there's been something that has perhaps kept it subdued. But you're needed this lifetime though. You've come in and you got because you've got a specific signature, and this is why everything is coming together to allow you to receive the codes to open and evolve. Where and as you're ready. So we can bring the codes in. We are bringing the codes in, and you're receiving them, and this will allow to bridge the gap between what has been and what could be, but it's still your intention to choose to fully activate into those, but the path will be open and able to be accessed. And these contracts, these old vows and contracts, they are reconciling these now so that they are not blocking the path forward. And
Okay.
it's like your soul is saying, I'm ready, and but the self here and the anchoring of that feeling safe to evolve has been still not quite there. And so, but the path you are on is good and perfect for bringing in ongoing the keys and the frequencies of different fields that are helping to continue to weave that light. So your light breathes fully. Like you can, like you've been breathing very much lighter, and you'll be able to expand much bigger. And this is good because it's very needed.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything I need to do?
Choose to embody the thoughts, the ideas, and quiet ones that are whispering, and to come forward. And listen for when your soul speaks, for not overriding it with logic, but allowing yourself to trust. And recognizing the patterns that do not support that breathing in new ways. No limitations. And your energy is very good. Your energy is very special. And you have a specific frequency code that establishes what's reflecting through you into the human field is like it's a it's like spiritual integrity for the human consciousness. And because this has been locked, much still leaks. And this is where the cords, the harvesting, the angry energy comes from, and the conflict, and so when you're waking up and this flame is expanding, your core energy field changing out through the matrix of who you are. This is very organically just by you being and intending to be the light, and coming into and accepting and listening for your truth, and this is continue reflecting out through that human field to create a greater spiritual integrity and alignment for others to start realizing their own truth.
Wow, that sounds cool.
That again, it is.
Yeah, thanks. How much of this is self-imposed, or is it just not understanding what was going on?
This this cocoon, this crust feels very very old, and because of that code that you offer, and the impact of the good it has in the greater collective, it's like through your evolution, and it's like someone's nudged you into that influence or that influence or that influence, so it's constantly being sabotaged. And so it is not surprising you do what you do, because you're fighting back this life, and and you are calling it back in. And so it is such a blessing to be able to assist and weave the codes back in that have been too dormant, too stagnant, too lost to time and evolution, to be able to weave themselves.
Okay, thank you. So how does this link with Susan and even John?
You know somewhat who they are, and so when you add this to the mix, and that spiritual integrity and that ability to hold the light, expands. This is divine alignment. It's very good that this is coming together, because you unlocking and awakening and then reflecting that through the greater field of energy is supporting the work that they're doing, as they are supporting the work that you're doing. And it's like putting a cog in the overall working that has been missing. And everything will work better.
Cool, thank you.
Together, everyone is stronger. This is important for everyone to remember. Together, stronger together.
Just finally, can I just ask, recent challenges, which I think a lot of people are going through, and myself in particular, professionally, how much of those are actual me doing them subconsciously to push into this direction? Or is it external factors mainly?
You needed to be here to receive these codes. And there is a greater influence of what is weaving and being nudged through teams in spirit, and to help guide the path to the highest optimal outcome. And so your higher soul is working with your teams as well, and so some of it is you, but the human mind is very good at also fighting what the soul is saying. And what we think is logic, and what is wanted. And it's not always what is needed. And the outcome of what happens through things coming in and things leaving is what gets you to the outcome of the highest reality when you're using intention as well. Watching those thoughts, self-perception, feeding with love. So even when you've got a good business, and some people are very resistant to finding abundance, this is often because the old paradigms are still not fitting where their intention is going. And so there's a lot of breaking down and rewiring, it's like a switchboard where it's like plugging in and out and in and out and in and out. It's resetting and remapping everything, which means there's a whole new frequency of people, situations, energy, opportunities that are needing to be woven back in and establish things in new ways of thinking and understanding and perceiving how life happens. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the reason I asked it is I was thinking maybe too much fear-based thinking based on past experiences instead of more intentional thinking of, what could be, there's been a lot of dark times and experiences, so maybe thinking too much about them instead of what could be.
And you're looking in the podcast and bringing all these different energy signatures into your field, and as well as the work you're doing has been a huge activator for shift and change as well. And you've got great understanding, but careful not to lock in and the old paradigms of the ways of doing things either. And work with the infinite wisdom that lay within, and what you tap into through that infinite wisdom, and trusting that it is exactly what you need, and that is going to take you to exactly the reality that is truest for your expression, that feels comfortable, that can be worn like your favorite friend.
Thanks. Thanks for that, John.
I was just thinking there that Susan was feeling energies before we logged on. Cam mentioned that. Is there anything that we need to know about those energies? It was just the fact that Cam was coming on today, or was there something else causing the energy Susan was feeling?
And we were just helping to clear the field before we got here, and some of that stuck energy, so it was more effortless to bring in the code and the so she was working through that human fieldness, the greater density, and which has just interlinked everything. So this is the energy she was feeling.
Okay, thank you. So I have some questions that Susan has prepared for me to ask you. So a personal question for Susan. For up to 4 weeks now, she has been experiencing waves of a fire up her spine. It feels like Kundalini activating over and over. And she feels it through the rest of her body before returning to a normal temperature. She feels it day and night, but particularly noticeable when she is working in energy. Susan is intending and working to balance and align, so why is it not moderating and settling? Can you explain this, please?
The bigger picture of what you're doing here is huge. And because there's been a lot of prior work also on your kototochia, she's very susceptible to calling back those parts of self that have been lost to time. And this is why every time she stops, so she's just in that energy, it's essentially attracting back another aspect. Activate, activate, over and over and over. She's literally like a spinning vortex, pulling all the aspects of her soul back together to become whole.
Okay. That reminds me of a question I spoke about in the QHHT session when you first appeared to us. It was about Susan had or was due to activate feminine codes. I think it was 23 feminine codes that were really from different races in the galaxy. And she also had the masculine ones, but it was the feminine ones we focused on. Is that what she's maybe calling back when she's feeling this Kundalini activation?
There's been a huge amount of work from many, as well as Susan ongoing, for the feminine and the masculine, the divine aspects of those primordial codes, and is actually that coming into a form that can be received that is then being able to call back. So yes, you are correct.
Okay.
That is being received by all as it comes through her, and she is working in the energy, so that can then ripple out and be received by others also.
Okay, so they're coming through Susan to then be passed out onto the general population, whoever is able to receive them.
This is correct.
Is there much more of the process still to go for Susan to experience?
Probably at this rate, maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
And
Is
this is also what is elevating the sense of new ideas, new thoughts in her, and that the energy of tapping into new energy frequencies to work in different ways. So that bringing all aspects into a greater understanding and bandwidth, so that the channel is more complete, more at ease to be able to hold the vibration without the heaviness and exhaustion that we have discussed in the past.
okay, that's good. Glad to hear that that's clearing for her. Just when you mentioned the channel being cleared, is Susan today, has she managed to step back completely, or is there still a small percentage of her sort of close by listening?
She's not really here, no.
Okay, that's good. That was our ambition, was to remove herself as much from this process as possible.
Yes.
That's good. Right. So the next question she's prepared. She is requesting neural and energetic connectedness for psychometry. She would like to release soul binds through human and galactic blueprints to weave the potentials more openly to be received by us and all who hold the intention to receive when listening and connecting with this recording. Susan has been guided to write this as and request it for us, sitting here at the moment, for the collective field. This feels like reconnecting to the divine realms and elements, a part of coming back into wholeness with Gaia. Is this possible?
Yeah, of course it's possible. We ask, we receive. If you would like to take a moment to just close your eyes and experience the light and the codes coming in, and through straight spines, and we can weave back down and through to awaken these threads and codes. Fill in the gaps. And reconnect with the diviner parts of the divine realms and elements. Update the contracts and any messiness that is in the past to release and reconcile. And forgotten vows and many things that are held within the the old past paradigms. Clear the slate. This is good for now. How do you feel?
I feel good, thank you. I felt a vibration going down through my face, actually, strangely enough. And then a lot of pulsing going on in my central area here.
Good.
Thank you very much. Just to lead on to that, offer that question, she's speaking about psychometry, and that's actually something that I dowsed with the pendulum when Susan and I were both in Arran, and it was the charts that Susan creates where that shows you a potential ability waiting to unlock, and it was psychometry that I got for myself, and Susan has mentioned it in the past couple of months. It's come up in questions a few times. Is there a particular importance to this ability awakening in people? What's it going to bring to us that we're not using at the moment?
And it's about bringing the senses online to feel, and to experience, and many use it for objects, yes, but the living world, the natural world around you is yearning to be heard. So when you can touch a tree or touch a flower or touch a leaf, and you can understand that energy and that vibration, you can feel its story, and then this awakens a whole new level of empathy and awareness, and this changes someone, and in a good way. But this skill is important for people to awaken to and find greater wholeness with, and the totality of everything and the consciousness that is within everything to be experienced in a more loving way.
Thank you. That's an amazing answer, actually. That's been coming across my social media recently, of people talking about connecting with nature spirits and the likes, and even going back to Aaron, we're talking about awakening the spirits in the land and things like that. So it would be amazing to start developing such an ability to connect with the small things, perhaps to start with, and then grow from there.
And just remember to claim it as if it is already so. Not that it's going to happen, not that it's going to evolve, but it is here. It is so. And then just with that intention, you know that it is part of who you are, and this is going to also help you embody the outcome.
Thank you. And thanks for clearing that up, because I would never have connected psychometry with connecting with trees and the likes. I just thought it was that object or looking at a photograph idea. So it's really opened my mind to the uses of psychometry. Thank you. On to a third question. She's asking to please optimize mental processes for a higher field of concepts and understanding with this journey we are on to continue to be progressive within our soul mission, where we open through thought to actionable momentum in a way it can be received by the collective field.
And you got the Connectedness. Yes, this can be received. Is everyone willing to receive it?
Yes, please.
Yep.
And you got the Connectedness. Just take a minute and quieten the mind. And you got the Connectedness. And you got the Connectedness. Each person will receive what they need, how they need it at this time. And you got the Connectedness. Do you feel okay?
Yeah, I feel great. Thank you. Oh. While we're at this moment, Susan always asks or reminds me to ask every week for continual clearing and upgrades just for the ongoing process of doing this work to make sure everything's optimized and clear going forward. So is this a good chance to clear out any energetic debris that may be hanging around? Is that needing done?
As you were talking, we're feeling tension in the neck. Seeing the pathway into the consciousness corridor. And new light that could be brought into here to help make that transition into the own awareness of the soul. Much more fluent. Is triggering down through the back, and those nervous system reactions to the experiences, and needing to just soothe and let go, and weave back in the light and the codes that shed the old and so the true light can help the soul to feel more embodied in the vessel. Help that remembrance to feel safe to receive. This is good.
Thank you. Thank you. So, obviously, Cam, jump in with any questions at any time. But going along the theme that we discussed in the Waking Class podcast at the start of it recently, of Susan and I, Susan keeps saying to me that we need to be thinking bigger. We're not thinking in a big enough scale. And a lot of the time we're working on personal questions, and I believe that that's needed as well. But so I was thinking about bigger. What does bigger mean? Speaking to the Guardians of the Light, and the thought of Atlantis came to my mind. I went, oh, I wonder how they were involved in Atlantis. But then I thought, no, let's leave that go back even further. Because I thought the Guardians of the Light have been there from the very beginning. And then it made me think, I think it might be wrong, but the opening line of the Bible, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And it made me think, well, we're used there right at that moment. And it's a very big concept for humans to get the whole baggage of religion and everything. But if we leave that to the side and we go to that first line, Can you explain what was happening at that point in a way humans could understand it?
Maybe not yet. When we are asking you to think bigger, life is happening. And the concept, think bigger, is to look at everything as a clue to what is your soul telling you. What is your soul telling you? What is this that I am? What is this a clue to? To get me to my highest absolute potential. Unless you're pure light, you have not reached your pure potential. And we are asking you to knit your way back into that reality of seeking intentionally and not just accepting. So why are you interested in that? What is that telling you about something that perhaps if it's good or bad, or is it creating help and fluency, or is it creating dysfunction? Find out where everything is interlinked, because what you're experiencing here is a guidance of some sort to get you to where you need to be. So not accepting bad luck, misfortune, poverty, but rather looking at everything as a clue to the next stepping stone of this is telling me this, this is telling me this. Thinking bigger means thinking more expansively from a higher perspective, where you're not taking life personally, but you are taking life and you're riding it. You're embodying the journey to become and to evolve. That's what you're here for. And you're in this vessel to allow you to learn. So just allowing yourself not to get lost in details that are perhaps still out of reach at this point. But what is my next step? How do I get to that point of evolution? You're all magical beings. And when you can set an intention and you're seeing that light evolve and those things unfold around you, then you're suddenly realizing that those structural paradigms that your genetic and evolutionary lines have been holding, all gone. They're releasing, they've gone, and then you can, then you can work with the architects of light to truly manifest what comes next. That expansion through the heart-led action, the understanding that we're all reflecting off each other. We're all stronger together in the right way. But if something doesn't fit, what needs to change? What is that telling you? Why is that happening? Is this making sense?
It is, but it opens up a time of reflection to actually understand what my next question is about me, I suppose, because I probably wasn't thinking big about my development. I was trying to think big about the human story, I suppose, rather than thinking big about me. And
If every person was able to awaken within themselves, it's like there'd be so
right,
much light.
right, okay. So, Cam, you any help here?
I say let's ask about your weaving then, if you want to narrow it down to apply for you, but thinking bigger. What does it mean to have that ability, and how can you contribute to your soul journey and the human race?
Yes, okay. So I think we have spoken about weaving before, or we have spoken about weaving before.
Hmm.
guardians. It was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I can't remember the specific information that you gave me.
And you got that, yeah, we were assisting to help you access it with greater ease, with greater clarity. Have you been practicing?
I've actually just stopped practicing over the past week. I've had 40 meditations, 41 meditations since March the 31st. So I've spent a month or more than a month meditating every morning and practicing weaving and sharing it with friends and getting feedback, mostly good feedback. But it's been hit and miss sometimes. But I accept that, and it's not a discouragement. But I suppose I need to get more hits in it to allow me to really fully believe that I can properly help people in a real tangible way. And that's where I am at the moment with it, I suppose. Can I really make a difference to someone's life by doing it? How do I fix that feeling?
Yeah, you're talking about things like hit and miss, and you got yeah, self-belief, and you got not always being able to call that in. So these are the clues to look deeper into. What is your soul still holding on to that is not allowing you to work with it like breath. That's how easy it should be. That you breathe without thinking. And this is what weaving is for you as well in its pure form. It's not an effort. So when it's like that, you would be walking along and you'd be like, look at that. And you'd be doing it literally like that, no effort. It's part of your soul energy. And that's part of the understanding, thinking bigger is what are all these little points of and agatianya and akato and these other bits that you're accepting or making excuses for that are actually just the clues and that help you awaken.
Mm-hmm. So apart from doing more of what I've been doing, I don't know the big change to make, or maybe I do. But it would take enormous willpower for me to sort of I'm thinking about fasting and cutting out certain foods and really cleaning my channel out to really make a difference to my life. To 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 then hopefully that difference would bring out an ability that at the moment is elusive. So how do I find that elusive spark and be able to, as you say, I would have it at my fingertips just when I need it?
Start with the emotional components. Like self-belief, like self-love. Yes, having a clean channel is wonderful. But that will happen very organically when you cleanse the emotional energy. And when you can't see the emotional energy and you know that it's still obviously there because this is supposed to be like breathing and I can't do it yet. Then you ask your teams, you invite them in, and as you go to bed and as you go to sleep and you put yourself in your light and you say, show me what I can't see. I'm ready to release what I can't see. I know I can do this. I've been shown I can do this. Have a conversation with them. Speak to your teams like they are your best friends. They are your greatest allies in helping you access those parts of yourself that you can't see, but you know are there. And you've got these blank spots where it's creating a hit and miss, hit and miss. So why is one day a hit, one day a miss? And these are the questions to really break down, not so much the it's because that human field is so expansive of like we release the cocoon. It's created these crusts, these like exteriors that are preventing that breathing being easy, preventing the access of the abilities being easy. But in actual fact, it is a part of who you are. And this is the importance of seeing every thought, every emotion, every concept, not as an acceptance of, oh, I'm just not good enough yet. Because you are good enough. It's just that there is a little bridge that needs to be built, which is probably being blocked from an emotion, which is probably not even yours. It probably belongs to an ancestor. It may belong to part of the evolution where you've helped someone else and you've taken that on for them. It's important to ask the questions of, is this mine? Is this someone else's? How do I release this? What is it I can't see? And key questions that unlock the greater potential of the light that you already are.
Okay, so it's almost, you're telling me to ask the questions, and that's what I'm hearing. So that's really what I need to add. I do ask them, but maybe not enough. So I maybe need to make a real, or I do need to make a real effort to, when I go to bed, as you say, call in the light, call in my teams, and ask for the help and ask for the clearing that needs done, and to allow that belief to come through that it can just happen. Because I have had some phenomenal feedback from people that's completely surprised me, which is believed that the very fact we're speaking about it on something that's going to go live to the public shows just how far along the road I've come, because I wouldn't have said this a year ago or 6 months ago even. So I do believe I can do it. I'm not getting 100% results with it, I suppose. So until I'm getting that, then I still have work to do. But thank you for the advice that you gave me on what needs to be done to get me along that road, and thinking bigger from that point of view. So now that you've redefined thinking bigger for me, because I was going down a totally different slant altogether. If the question I had for Cam was, which he never really asked, I don't think, once Cam's flame, eternal flame, is released from this chrysalis, what difference is that really going to make to him? I mean, what is that new super Cam that emerges from that? What what will he really feel in his life that's different?
It feels like like an inner confidence, like it's like a part has been missing that you don't even know has been missing, and when it comes back, it allows for that greater self-worth, inner confidence, the ability to communicate a truth that is perhaps not yet shared. It is. It feels like a gateway. That sheds just through being, so others come in, and you know you are the light without a shadow of a doubt, and releasing the possessing energies, and releasing disruptive vibrations, and even the emotional energy that is angry in one. And this feels to be like you're the filter, and like it just is through being that it is. And it's like it happens. And you return spiritual integrity to people. But first, on that must be returned to you to be fully received, and that depth of knowing in the soul on that is your truth. And so we recommend if you cannot feel that way, then start breaking it down. Why is that there? And I'm ready to release that. I see you. I don't actually want to feel like that anymore. And ask for help to release it. Ask your teams, call them in. Imagine the light within your soul evolving and how it can dissolve. See that energy and that it's creating the resistance, and you can see it as color, as an object of some sort. It doesn't matter. And you can see how when you breathe your light out, and it can just dissolve. And once you master this on yourself, then it starts to very easily start moving out.
Well, this is really interesting. Thanks for asking that, John. I've always, there's a sense now. I've just heard what I've heard. There's a sense that and maybe a lot of other people feel like this, in terms of whatever they value as a successful life, that uh, you know th things haven't maybe gone to plan, or you haven't achieved certain things. However, I know around me it has happened, but almost like there's a belief that it can happen, but not for yourself. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to say. Just when you were talking then, because if I look back at my own life patterns and see people's experiences with me and seeing what's happened to them, and then me thinking, okay, well, why can't that happen to me, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if
And these are the clues, because you're seeing it and you're understanding it, and it can happen to you. But rather than accepting that that's the way it is, and you start asking intentionally for that shift to what is it I'm not seeing? Start asking for the thoughts and the ideas that guide to what comes next. What is the next step I can take for myself? And allow yourself to be guided within the wisdom of your soul. You're your own greatest teacher, and but this requires that listening and embodying through intention with the right questions to receive the answers that you're looking for.
yeah, thank you. A lot of what you said, actually, I've heard the same words and language just in the last few days from my mentor, Jazz, has been saying the words have been really similar. So I guess it's not an accident that that's happened.
Good to hear.
Hmm, thank
So I'll have another attempt at thinking bigger, Guardians.
you.
If we're now thinking we're asking questions for ourselves, understand that the changes that we make in us then get passed on to the human collective. So we're not really just being selfish by saying, how can I improve? But actually, what else? What is waiting for us if we really unlock our full potential? And there's so many more other people that are working in spiritual fields. So I understand that it's not just going to be John, Susan, and Cam that become the enlightened beings going forward. There'll be other people doing it. But what is waiting? What I'm wondering out loud, Guardians, and you may not be able to answer this, but what else is waiting for us? What is life going to look like for me and for Susan and for Cam when we're fully embodying the powers that are waiting for us to unlock?
It's like sitting in the most comfortable chair you could ever imagine, and just being able to know that being in your own space and being in your enlightened state, and that level of comfort and understanding and knowing of interconnectedness, it's like everyone's been born into a life that is like a competition, like separate from each other. It's not, that's not the truth. That's the false identity. That's the programming that needs to be broken. Because when you come into your full enlightened state and you are aware that just through breath you are fully embodying these abilities, and then the thoughts, the processes, the identity, the concept of who you are as a being is so different. It's inconceivable for a mind at this point to imagine what that might be like at that point, because it's you're not there yet. But that's the step-by-step action of the work being done to allow the light to evolve in a way that it can be received, understood, learnt, embodied, and fully nurtured, to keep learning from the higher soul. It's nice to find the conduit in through modalities, through processes, through other people, but ultimately your greatest learning is about you and and that's got to be brought in from your higher wisdom, because no one else can teach you so we work with others just simply as the conduit into learning, but it is truly important to embody your own wisdom and learnings along the way.
Embody your own wisdom and learnings along the way. Right. Okay. So, but the reason I went down another tangent altogether about thinking big, it was because the whole ego and how I've always tried to make sure it's taking a back seat and it's not about me, and it's I'm not asking questions about me. It's not just how do I become better? What am I going to be like in the future? How do I get there? Tell me, tell me, tell me. I was trying to get a much bigger picture and tell much bigger stories. But you, Susan said something right at the start that gave me an inkling that my 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 direction was wrong, because she said that it was about the future. The big thinking was about the future. And I went, oh my goodness, the questions I've prepared, I just went in the wrong direction altogether. So how do we go about asking questions and believing that we're on the way to becoming much more than what we currently are, and keep our egos in check, and stay humble and make sure that we're what we gain is used for the benefit of others rather than just ourselves?
When you are working through the frequency of the unconditional love of that pure light, and you are guided by your own soul or teams in spirit, that you are able to embody to do something like you're being shown today, and then it's not selfish to unlock. You're being told for a reason, because you're ready to step into that. So when you meet someone and they tell you that you can, then that is a seed. The seed is being planted, and as the seed is able to then sprout, it embodies exploration. So higher soul, show me what I can't see, because I was told I could do this, so why can't I do it? That doesn't make sense to me. So help me make sense. What are the thoughts that I need to start thinking? put them in my head. So when you're in meditation and intentionally working, start looking for the clues as to the questions of why, having conversations and working with what is it I can't see? What is it I can't see? That's it's like the human field has been programmed to think that working for oneself is very ego. But if Susan had said that at the very beginning, then she would not be able to be here today doing what she does, helping others. It is life-changing. She came on the journey to heal an illness, and that happened, but it continued to evolve, and she continues to seek and embody, but continues to work in love, and this is all that's asked. To work with that unconditional love. The intention is just being pure and heart-led. So as you awaken oneself, this is activating and awakening for so many others, because you're coming back into what you're meant to be doing. You're being realigned, reset constantly. Like the question before of why are these things happening and shutting down around me? And it's this working intentionally because you're constantly moving. You're not meant to stay still. The soul journey, you're here to learn, to grow, to evolve, to become, to flourish. And that is only going to happen if you allow yourself the grace to, I guess, love oneself as much as one may love another and want to help another.
Okay. This is a fantastic conversation. Thanks, Guardians, for doing this. But it now makes my human mind say, right, what do I do next? So, but I'm not asking you that. I'm thinking out loud. So, on the most recent Waking Class podcast, you told us the big difference we could make, that humanity could make, is just to go into yourself and drop into your heart and really lead with the heart on everything, and really change your life by finding that. So, going from that basis, I'm then thinking, how do I develop myself? And when I meet people, and every day I then need to try and embody that, meeting them from a place of love rather than judgment or whatever else thoughts may come through my mind. Apart from that, I know that would take me a great leap forward if or any person a great leap forward if they can come from a place of love with every person that they meet. It would be transformational in anyone's life. So maybe that is the answer. But I'm just wondering if there's anything else I should be doing to say this is going to make a difference. So, like, they're talking about the modalities, meditating, practicing my weaving. What else should I be doing to unlock? Well, you've told me when I go to bed at night, speak to my guides during the day, bring them into my day in the mornings, ask for their help. If I was to do that over the next month and almost set a routine to bring my guides in, try and meet everyone with love, do you see that making a big difference in my life and unlocking what needs to be unlocked?
This will help. But the question you laughed at, of what's next, that's exactly the question you need to be asking your teams each day. What's next? Show me what's next. Okay, I've done that. Now what's next? Keep asking, what's next? What's next? What's the next step? They hold many gifts that are very underutilized. So not just asking for the ideas and thoughts, but inviting in the bridging codes that help to create the leap from too. Ah, that's it. There's a lot of remapping that's going on within the human field of the DNA at the moment. So the more you're calling it in as you go to bed at night, the healing beds and that the galactics bring in, the crystalline frequencies. What is it you resonate with? And that's what you do. But you need to ask, you need to call it in. What's next? And can I have those codes? What am I ready to receive today?
Okay. So in practical terms, I've got quite a lot to do almost just from going inside myself and speaking to my guides.
Don't think of it as a task. It's like rediscovering who you are. The journey of awakening is like lifting these veils that have been hiding your true color, your true frequency, and every layer that's pulled away allows you to shine a little bit brighter, have new thoughts, new ideas. It allows a new opportunity to enter your field. So when you have a thought about weaving, and this is, if that is what's foremost at this point, then just look at all the aspects of that. What does it make you feel? When you can't connect, how do you feel? Who does it seem to work for and who does it not seem to work for? Start looking at all the different clues. And then these things that you're getting on, then this is what you ask for help with. I'm helping to dissolve this. I'm helping to dissolve this and work through what's next. Okay. What's awakening? What new thoughts and ideas are coming forth as you're releasing the junk? And this is going to open you to those new thoughts and ideas. And which keeps you being progressive. So it's not being selfish. It's not being just a list of things you have to do. And it's a journey of love for oneself to come back into that light, that frequency that allows you to connect with the family that you've forgotten within this human field.
Yeah, I don't think I'm looking at it as a chore, actually. But as you were speaking, I think it's something that has been lost, or maybe humanity never knew, or for the last 2,000 years, humanity hasn't really been in tune with the practices that you're telling us to do. Not on a grand scale, anyway. The majority of the world isn't doing these things, and we need to bring them back. And we need to find space in our day to bring them back, or rather, we don't need to find time. It should almost be a priority to do these things, and that's going to change humanity from within, because there's all this extra help's coming to every human because they're connecting to their teams, and I can imagine the massive difference that's going to make to me and other people. So you've given me a real lesson today of what to think of next, and there's real value in that, and really a real lesson on how to approach you going forward and what we should really be focusing on. And it might be hard to think of lots of questions that aren't just about me.
I do understand. It's important to remember that what one person experiences, many
Yeah.
experience. And so through through these, when others watch them, they learn, they evolve, and they grow through the personal experiences that you're all having.
Okay.
I think this practical advice that we've been getting is fantastic. So yeah, thanks for those questions, John, and thanks for the answers. And what it made me think of is, the people that we know, the clients that we get, and a consistent theme is the inability to perhaps let go. You can say you can do some work, you could do meditation, you can, mindfulness practices, but you haven't really let go of maybe the pain of some hurtful words, what someone may have said to you. I'm just looking at client examples, or maybe if I look at myself, sometimes I think when I'm doing spiritual work, because I've seen some pretty scary stuff and been to some places where I think, oh God, let's not go that again. Maybe that introduces fear into, the positive possibilities. So yeah, this what practical advice could you have? I know you've mentioned it in the podcast, but while we're on the subject now, so someone who maybe listening to this thinks that, I've done a lot of work, but haven't been able to let go of this relationship dynamic that happened, 30 years ago, or whatever, or I haven't been able to forgive this person for this issue.
So it is important to recognize a theme of who's coming into your life, be they clients or personal relationships, and what that's telling you about your own soul, because that's a big clue of things that you can't remember yourself. So the sooner that aspect is understood, then asking for that help for that to be reconciled in whatever form that sits within the etheric field, and this then helps it release from you, and then you'll get a whole new set of clients in, or a new set of relationships in. It's really that learning around the repeating patterns and embodying the understanding that you are more light and you are more limitless than you've ever been allowed to believe. And it's only by calling that in and embodying the love within self that allows you to then recognize these like a lot of humans walk around with many attachments that are feeding on their light, on their life force. That is, the more light you become, the more you embody your own light and your own life force, the more this can't exist. Because you see it and you'll be like, no. And it will clear through your intention of making the changes needed. It's a totality of everything that we've discussed. And when you're talking practically the steps, I think recognition is really the most powerful first step. Understanding those patterns, recognizing why something is not working out like you perceived it to. And many people are they are not seeking, they are not intending for life to work out in any way. They are living very reactively to the moment. So there is being present, but living with intention and seeking the most optimal outcome through love. And then there is people who are just floating. And spirit can't help if you don't have a direction, if you're not seeking, if you're not intending for to feel a certain way, to exist in a certain realm, and then there's no map to work to. No one's asking for help. So it's so important to come back into self. How do I want to feel? What is disrupting that way that I want to feel? Who can help me? You don't need to know who your teams are. You just need to be able to ask for help in a way that it can be received by you. And as you go to bed at night, as you wake up in the morning, as you move through the day, and your teams are there and they're all wanting to help. So recognize and understand and ask.
Yeah, thank you. That's a fantastic, there's some fantastic advice in there. Really great.
There is. We're probably ready for that's about an hour and a quarter actually we've been going. So I just realised that it's been about myself and Cam today. So we did have three questions on behalf of Susan. So I just wanted to take the chance to ask the Guardians if there's any other messages for Susan or advice for along the lines of what has been given to myself and Cam today. Is there anything Susan needs to pay heed of?
Be patient and just keep listening and be patient. It is good.
Right. Will she still be happy when we tell her that in 10 minutes' time? Oh, right. Thank you so much for the lesson today. And I really need to get thinking about this for the next time.
We're here to help. So when you know what you want help with, we will help.
Thank you
Yeah, thank you very much.
so much.